Alright. What's up, everybody, and welcome back. We've got a big best of 7 series here from the Afreeca Pro Series. Storm Gaming's MAXPAX in the top right side. He is on Radhuset Station, up against Shopify Rebellion's BYUN, a player that is perpetually frightening in the TVP matchup. An ability to pick up and drop his army on you at any moment. The ability to constantly hover on the edge of committing. And definitely someone who strikes paranoia into his opponent's fear. His stutter step, his bio-micro is impeccable. And as a result, Zealots often seem rather inspiring against this man. We'll see how this one goes, though. There are times where MAXPAX makes BYUN look like he has no business in there with him, where he kind of has his number on a certain day. But there's days where BYUN can do the same thing to MAXPAX. They definitely have their fair share of close back and forth series, but I think they have just as many, where one of them seems to have some knowledge on how the other's going to be playing that day. Some sort of, maybe they've been seeing their builds, or they've come in with some special strategies and plans, and you just see the other guy unprepared for it, getting wiped out. Slight delay on the command center, but not very significant at all. You could see it was already straight Marine into Reactor, and the orbital there is going to be going for the SCVs and the mules. Now, he has pulled off gas, has BYUN, which tells us it's either a very mineral-focused 3 ranks where he wants to just push very quickly, or it's a 3 command center build. And that's interesting because, well, it's Radhuset Station. Now, this map, you get your natural down here, which is a little exposed from drops, but it's hard for them to attack on the front. Look at how long it takes. I mean, we're just going to zoom out and pan across this map. My God, it takes forever to wind into your opponent's natural. And then behind the natural, you get a 3rd base for free. These minerals, really easy to mine those out. So it's a very good map for being super greedy. It almost always goes to late game on this map. Now, because of that nature, as players start saying, well, it's always going to go late game, I'm going to be super duper greedy, there is a very simple adjustment that happens. And it makes very logical sense when you think about it. And that is, hey, everyone's playing greedy on this map, let's all in. So you're going to see a mixture of the cheesiest, dirtiest all-ins ever, especially if people utilize, say, the gold base to like proxy Stargate Tempest or something like that. But you're also going to see, you know, the greedy builds. And you're going to see a little bit of chicken being played sometimes between players on what they can get away with, or if they can just kill their opponent with a nice, easy victory. For now, BYUN's the one who's playing completely blind and very greedy with a 3 command center. He's going to go for a 2nd and 3rd barracks behind it to give himself some safety, but, you know, he's not going to have any tech or mobility on the map. It's pure economy and Marines for the first 6-7 minutes of this game, essentially, for BYUN. He's not going to have medevacs out for a very long time, and uh-oh, he didn't move his Marines preemptively there. You got to remember, the back of this natural is open-ended. Because there's that in-base there, it gives the Adepts more space to run away. Normally, you get kind of cornered if you end up on the wrong side of the Marines. Oh, look at that. Even gets a few hits on it and damages that SCV. It's a great start for MAXPAX. And BYUN, you can see the lack of mobility, a bit of a weakness on this map. That's why I have seen quite a few Terrans get an early Cyclone out just to shut down the Adepts, have a bit more mobility to push them out of your territory. But look at this, MAXPAX ain't done. And, oh, he split fires. That was a little sloppy from MAXPAX. Does end up getting an SCV. But he will lose an Adept for it, so at least there's a bit of a price paid. 2nd gate, 3rd gate, and Blink, and Robo. This is about as standard and safe as you can play. MAXPAX loves his safe standard openings, and he kind of needs the damage then, because he doesn't know about the 3rd command center. There's going to be 3 mules dropping at a time. If he didn't do any damage, I mean, his 3rd's really late, right? Not for a normal game, but for playing against the 3 command center, yes. You know, everything is all you know, it's relational. It's all about in what situation. You know, you always talk to noobs about StarCraft to say, this is good, that is bad. Whereas obviously it's all, well, this is bad if they're doing this. And, you know, it's good if they're doing this. A MAXPAX build is fantastic versus a more normal maps build order. But against the 3 command center build, he's going to fall behind in income. Even though his work account's ahead for now, it's going to slow down and stall out for a little bit. And the triple mules that we'll be dropping will actually be giving the Terran the income advantage for most of this early game. +1 weapons, Stim, is on the way. We've already got a factory up a little bit earlier than I expected, to be honest. That factory started at like 4:20. Super early for a 3 commands. And a starport reactor before combat shield, so he really wants some medevacs. BYUN realizes those are late. Prism Harass going to come in as the 3rd base is halfway done. MAXPAX, you can see, is still probing behind this. 3 gases. The Marine will see that Prism going around the right side. Not sure if BYUN noticed that. I didn't see his screen move in that direction at all. You can see where the... Oh, yeah, he's looking. He's looking. He's got the units in the main base. But the Stalkers end up just hitting from the natural. Gets 1 SCV. Oh, he's split firing a little bit. Gets 2 Marines and an SCV. It's not bad. It's free damage. Can't really hate on free damage, can you? Starts going into attack the depot. There's only 2 Marines in there. MAXPAX probably could have stood and fought for a while and actually tried to fight those units, but... Oh, accidental observer floats in. Slight mistake there. Looks like the Prism on the right side also picking up. So far, an Adept and Observer, 5 SCVs, and 3 Marines. A great start here for MAXPAX. Should have a pretty good idea of what he's up against. He's going for 3 more gateways, and Forge Charge will start up as well. So it's going to be a Charge Lot follow-up. Blink Stalker Charge, very good. The problem on this map is covering all of the distance. I mean, drops are scary, so playing Colossus can be kind of hard, but there's also just so much wide open space in the middle of the map that, you know, you're going to get surrounded by Marauders and Marines. Colossus aren't going to do that well with the splash damage. Bunker will go down, as will that SCV. Getting a depot or 2 could be very nice, but with Stim finished, you got to be careful about staying too long. Third command center's already landed for BYUN. He's definitely on the losing side of the trades, but as long as he can get his build cleaned up, he'll be okay. The supply block does hurt. Very nicely done by MAXPAX killing that depot, and he's going Templar Archive, so we're going to see what I imagine would be a quick Storm style. Technically could be a Zealot Archon timing attack, but I feel like those are pretty rare these days. There we go. Psystorm starts up at 6 minutes 47. He's low on gas right now, but in about 30 seconds, MAXPAX will need to start warping in a few High Templar so we can have lots of Storms ready. Storm is so much more higher impact and higher damage than Colossus and more reliable than Disruptors. Problem, takes forever to get every Storm. So, you know, you've really got to get those High Templar banking up energy early, and BYUN's now got all of his upgrades. Shields is about to kick in. He's got Concussive and Stim. Look, he pushes the Stalkers to the right. Oh my god, does the Watchtower doesn't see it. Oh, that's a dangerous move. The Stalkers think they're closing their gap in the vision, but he's already gone by. I told you guys earlier, BYUN is known for these dangerous drops. He'll just, at the moment he pushes your vision back even a tiny little bit, he picks up, boosts in, drops, gets 8 probes, gets a shield battery that was building, takes out a Zealot, a second Zealot as well, saves every unit in the drops, and then pulls to the left. Wow. Trading now in BYUN's favor. And remember, he's got that third command center fully saturated. Mines are building, +1 armor's on the way. 4th and 5th barracks is up with add-ons building. He's a little supply blocked right now. I think BYUN was expecting to maybe lose a few more units in his first sort of skirmishes on the map. There's actually a thing which pro players will sometimes tactically not build depots, even though they're about to hit a supply block, because they're going in for pressure, and they figure, hey, I'm going to lose a bunch of units. Let's be a little bit greedy and power up here. But sometimes the fight goes so well, they end up supply block behind it. Oh, no, MAXPAX! MAXPAX Prism gets shot down. That is so unfortunate. He starts rebuilding it. He's got 4 High Templar. Did he just warp these in? He still doesn't have Storm energy. He started Storm a minute and a half ago, yet he doesn't have any Psystorm ready. Oh, big screw up for MAXPAX. Big screw up. The pressure from BYUN with that drop distracted him, and then his own drop going down, and he's just so slow. The Zealots and Stalkers getting overwhelmed. Storm kicks in the middle of the battle after the battery goes down. He needed the Storm at the start of that battle. The whole point of Storm is it punishes the Terran for clumping up like that. You cannot clump up in the face of Psystorm. BYUN stims in, realizing it's not ready, kills the battery, kills half the Zealots and Stalkers. Storm finally comes in, but by that point, half the Protoss army's dead, and BYUN is having his way with him. Very nice play for BYUN, who's going Ghost Academy 2-2. He is not starting a 4th base. BYUN's saying, I'm ahead. There is no reason to give him room to get back in this game as long as I keep pumping units. Double upgrades and Ghost is already enough of a transition into the future. If I were to build a 4th command center and 3 more barracks and a 2nd starport, I'd have to cut too much unit production. But he wants to keep up Marine Marauder production. You can see even now, even just with that investment, there is a little bit of a gap in production. A few more Marines and Marauders do queue up. And he's going to go for a quad drop. The Zealot sees it. The Zealot sees it. Okay, so he pretends he's not going to go for it. But then he goes for it anyway. Oh, yeah, MAXPAX thinks, okay, you're not actually going to go for it. He actually gets baited a little bit. BYUN's going to go for a crazy drop here. Recall gets activated. BYUN should probably get out of here. Storm's going to get recalled. BYUN, you crazy person. He's actually going to stay clumped up versus Storm. This is exactly what Storm stops you from doing. And BYUN gets punished pretty hard there. He's going to lose 2 full medevacs. Well, one of them had full units. 1 medevac gets out with some stuff inside. Units lost tab, down 1,000 for MAXPAX. It's still not great, but that was a very important battle. He's only got 3 High Templar right now, though. I'd like to see him warp in more. He's also gone 2nd Robo Bay. Robo Bay. I'd like to see him get a 2nd Robo to try and get some Colossus, Immortals, Disruptors, something to really get him some variance. He's on basically a mass Zealot army. 1 Archon, 4 Stalkers, and a Prism with 3 High Templar. Widowmine drop comes in, deflected by the Stalkers. Good defense by MAXPAX, but gonna have to be careful about watching that top edge. You can see that drop's waiting up there. He sees that BYUN's still there, right on his side of the army. Gotta be careful. You can't be throwing away Zealots right now, MAXPAX. You're on the back foot already for getting Storm. Put him so far behind in this game, but Widowmine drop coming in. Good reaction here by MAXPAX. But does he even have any observers, guys? He's got one there, one there. Okay, so he's bringing both observers back. He's just kind of, I think, F2'd his observers home. Like where you F2, you control-click the observers from your selection, and then you just click them up here. Not a bad way of doing it. Stalkers will clean this up. This is distracting him. He's not using his Robo-Bay, guys. Uh-oh. There's a big army coming. Scan comes down. Make sure there's no observer in the middle of the map, which there wasn't, admittedly. And there's basically one prism. Where is it? Okay, the prism's down here. 3 High Templar are in that prism. He needs to land storms on this army, but there's now Ghosts and Vikings out. Careful, MAXPAX. Careful. Ooh, okay, this is a scary push. Scary push, scary push. Okay, good storm. BYUN has to pull back a little bit, let himself heal for a moment. Zealot's ready on the south. He can use this as a counterattack or a flanking force. I would probably prefer kind of the run-by / counterattack version. Colossus on the way, +1 armor, +3 attack is coming in as well. Upgrade advantage is there for Terran 2-2 versus about to be 2-1 upgrades. It's not a massive advantage, but it does matter. MAXPAX has a 5th base up. He's still on a mostly Zealot army. These Widow Mines are ruining his day. They're getting big splashies on the Zealots. The Zealots, I mean, the problem is this also reveals where the Protoss army is. So BYUN knows exactly where his army is. He's going to scan now. Oh, God, he's going to push him. MAXPAX does not know this army's coming. MAXPAX! Oh, no, MAXPAX! Oh, no, EMP lands on the prism. The Vikings shoot it down. 1 High Templar gets out, but he gets EMP before he can even land a storm. Oh, that's just not... There's no Protoss there, man. You're out, upgraded. You've only got Zealot Stalker. A lot of your Zealots aren't even here. They're counterattacking on the other side of the map. Yeah, I mean, he'll kill a few SCVs, but those will get dealt with as well. His whole army crumbles. He's down 60 supply. BYUN does walk through Storm a little there. His army is heavily damaged, but I mean, even with a heavily damaged army and killing his own Marauder, he's actually just got so much stuff. I don't think it matters. Very nicely done by BYUN. I mean, it all came back to that moment where the Stalkers thought they were kind of holding the push. The moment the Stalkers pulled back to this cliff, BYUN picked up, boosted north into the natural, and then MAXPAX just forgot about warping in High Templar for way too long that game. An unfortunate start to the series for MAXPAX. All right. Well, a pretty rough game one for MAXPAX. I thought the opening was stellar for him. Amazing damage. And I really thought that was going to go his way, but we saw that how scary it is having that exposed base. We're now going to Equilibrium. I have to wonder who's picking these maps, because Raduset's a really big map, but maybe BYUN picked it because the drop paths are so good. I can't imagine a Terran picks this map, even though the main base is kind of exposed to drops. Like, there are weird Doom drops that can just win the game, because, like, often you'll expand down towards the gold in this south side, and then your main actually ends up surprisingly open to drops and Doom drops that can just win the game. So it's going to be very important for MAXPAX to maintain observers up here in the very top of the map and start to kind of deal with everything that's going on. Blackburn was our most recent map like this. Of course, we all remember Habitation Station. There's been a few maps like this where it is the kind of, you know, mirrored spawns rather than, oh, you spawn top left, I spawn bottom right. And MAXPAX is going straight for the gold base, which I love. I think one gate expand on the gold, very powerful. BYUN's not scouting, which on this map is actually insane. Unless you're doing a build which is assuming they're going to take the gold and you want to punish it, then not scouting is crazy on this map. And
complete.
What? What? What is he doing? This is the dumbest build I've ever seen. There is no way he gets away. This is such a gamble. This is such a gamble. He's doing the same build as last game, and he's trying to build the third on location on the gold. And it's so stupidly dangerous that it might work. Because MAXPAX will assume you wouldn't be crazy enough to gamble on that. That's such a gamble. Only an insane person would risk such a thing. But MAXPAX is on top of him. Just like last game, MAXPAX had great pressure last game. He's got great pressure again. And he manages to get one Marine there, but with 2 more Marines coming out, I don't think he's going to be able to get any more with this Adept. The thing is, guys, the Adept gets in. He sees a second barracks. The third barracks is pretty late. Does MAXPAX know enough about Terran builds to realize? He really should. As the best Protoss in the world, he should realize something's up. Of course, he's going to be focused on just getting damage for now, though. Sometimes players get a bit too excited. That Adept did go down almost, but it got trapped inside the main, shaded there. The Marines will take that bad boy out. The one on the natural does not get the kill. The SCV popped inside the command center and then popped out. Nicely done. He hasn't realized. MAXPAX has not realized. He's going for a 3-gate blink build right now. It may become a 4-gate blink, which would be decent. it's so much harder for Terran to defend this than it is for Protoss, because this whole period of the game when Blink finishes, Protoss kind of has map control and map dominance, but it's all about understanding what's happening. And there's been enough interactions, even the top tier players, when they're busy microing like this, might not realize that my opponent has been what we in the industry refer to as a greedy bag of dicks. Excuse my French, guys. A bag of baguettes, is what Clem would call that. The Adept goes down, the Marine hunts it down. Nicely done. Third barracks is there. Now, he's going for a third Nexus, so it's a 3-gate Blink Robo. It's a very standard build for MAXPAX. I mean, it could still work out okay for MAXPAX, but the fact that he doesn't realize the gold base is there is what worries me. If BYUN can get away with transferring workers to the gold, that's where he gets the payoff. Keep in mind, dropping mules here does not help. For those who don't know, mules mine gold minerals at the same rate they mine normal mineral patches. So they don't actually get an advantage from dropping on the gold base. Whereas normally if you took, say, a hidden base down here on the blue minerals in the corner, you drop mules there so that your safer bases mine out much slower. But in this case, BYUN has to drop the mules on the natural. And it is what it is. Stim and Shields is on the way. Engineering Bay finally goes down. A couple of Marauders are out. Link's not ready yet, so he's got to be careful with these Stalkers, man. This is always the point where you're like, oh my god, don't lose these Stalkers. But he's good enough to one-shot Marines. He loses a Stalker. A little rough there. I mean, oh man, not the best control for MAXPAX. But, of course, he's worried about how committed is this. He's trying to build an Immortal right now. Stalkers are going to try to hunt down these Marines and Marauders. Marines and Marauders being this far out is dangerous. Stim is going to kick in only in 14 seconds. Yeah, this was a dangerous move for BYUN. Usually if you do a push like this, you like to have early concussive, just so you can really punish the Stalkers with the concussive, make it scary for them, and kind of delay your combat shields a long time. But MAXPAX, he's lost one Stalker, which is not too bad. Picking off an extra couple of Marines every time they do this interaction. Charges on the way as well as a Forge. Immortal is sitting there, but that's the scary bit. It's the Stim comes in, 2 Stalkers go down. Now, obviously, there's no healing for this bio. And the factory's only just halfway done. Oh my god, his medevacs are going to not be out till 7.5 minutes. So BYUN has to be very, very wary about stimming. He does not want to stim the whole army. Maybe stim a couple of units. Concussive has finally started. Observers there. MAXPAX still does not know about this gold base. BYUN has successfully pulled a fast one on him. Oh, run. Alright, 2 more Marines do go down there for shields. Well, microed. 8 gates on the way, and I think just Zealot Stalker, not a bad way to play here for MAXPAX. Doesn't feel he can kind of get up to that next stage. You can see the concussive there doing its work. One of the Stalkers goes down, and units lost tab's actually in the positive for BYUN. His army is very wounded, so that can change very quickly, especially as these Marauders go down. But he's still rallying to the middle. There's 4 fresh Marauders there at the Stalker and the Watchtower. It's kind of surprising he's let MAXPAX just have that Watchtower. 4th and 5th barracks are coming up. A few turrets building around. He's worried about the Prism going into the north on his main. He knows that's always going to happen. That's MAXPAX 101. Gold base is mining though, guys. He's got 11 workers there now. 13. He's even sent another one. And that's a massive economy for the Terran. Protoss is a little ahead on that economy, as his 4th is almost halfway done. But every time a lot of mules drop, that's going to go, of course, in the other direction. Now, Prism is going to go in with 4 Zealots as well as the drop, but the army's nearby. This is what I call a waste. Because if the army's not pressuring you, those Zealots are going to kill like 1 Marauder. These Zealots here need to survive. He's got to keep the Prism alive and get out of there. And he does do so, which is great. Gonna get a couple of SCVs. He's pulling the army back. I mean, it buys you time. He's got a Robo Bay on the way. Oh, the turrets! He didn't know about the turrets! That's 1,000 minerals down the drain for 2 SCVs and a Marauder. That's not a good trade, guys. That's not a good trade. How many Marauders has he killed in total? 4 Marauders, 4 SCVs this game. It's not great damage for MAXPAX. He kind of, you know, this is the modern Terran pretends they're about to move out and push. The Protoss pulls the trigger on their Zealot run-bys. And the modern Terran does what BYUN just did. They pull back, they kill all the Zealots for free, and they go, guess what? I didn't even want to push you yet. I just wanted to trigger you into throwing away those Zealot run-bys, because I really don't want to deal with those when I actually want to push you. When I really want to commit to the big attack and try to kill you, I want you to already be afraid of committing too many Zealots in the run-by, because they're doing so poorly. And, yeah, BYUN loses a few SCVs, but overall, pretty good trading for him. And Colossus are now on the way, +2 as well. We've got a second Forge coming in. Stalker, Zealot Sentry, and a couple of Immortals there. Going to do pretty good. A lot of these units are pretty heavily damaged. The Zealots in the south running into the other half of that army. Force Fields could split this, and he's going to go for the Guardian Shield in the fight. Bio army's damaged, guys. There's not many medevacs here. 4 medevacs only now out. A lot of the army is heavily damaged, and I wouldn't mind him going in. Zealots do attack in on that 4th base, denying the building. BYUN is caught moving across the map. The Widowmine's not that effective when the Zealots are all spread out like this. They kind of just hit 2 individual Zealots, and then bam, that's it. Zealots going after the SCVs on that mineral line. It's the main fight over here that might be the bigger concern. BYUN's army's trapped up against the wall right now. He stims kind of belatedly there. And oh, his army's taking big damage. Stalker starting to chase down his medevacs. If you can get those medevac snipes, that's massive. Remember, there are not many medevacs in this game. There's only 5 on the map. A lot of Marauders and Marines coming in from both sides right now, though. Coming in with a good arc. The Colossus and the Immortals are in trouble. More Zealots do come out there. One Immortal goes down. The Colossus is going to fall. Those Marauders, let their presence be known. They do almost all die for it. Was it worth it for BYUN? He gets rid of the powerful Protoss units, but his frontline of Marauders is pretty much completely gone. Great Widowmine does splash all of those frontline Zealots. Remember, there's a 5th base on the way, almost finished for MAXPAX behind this. His 2-1 upgrades are there. He's building more Colossi and rallying them forwards. He's got Zealots on the gold base, and that's the big winner. The Zealots on the gold base obliterate BYUN's economy, and it looks like MAXPAX here is just going to manage to fight well enough, and especially with the prison, they're able to warp in more of these units, pick up and save them. Very nicely done by MAXPAX. Just 9 gate Zealot production, good multi-prong. BYUN? You know what's crazy, guys? When did MAXPAX actually realize the gold base existed? Was it literally those Zealots just happened to path in there? Like, was it when the sensor tower got built? Like, he basically announced his presence. I think this like 8-minute mark might be the first moment when he actually realized there was a goal. But isn't it crazy, guys? 7 minutes 40, you're both going to 4 and 5 bases soon, and you still don't know about this gold base that's been here this whole time. That's crazy that MAXPAX did not realize what was happening, and he still ended up being able to win this game. Well done by MAXPAX. Really well done. Great micro and engagements for him. And BYUN, dude, gets away with a ridiculous opening. It's the same build 2 games in a row, just with a different command center positioning. I think BYUN's going to change things up massively in game 3. All right. Going into this one, MAXPAX back tying up the series. Now in the bottom right of Hard Lead, a pretty good map for Terran. So I think that last one was his map pick. This one will be the Terran map pick. BYUN in the top left is going for a very aggressive proxy barracks. And that's going to be a Reaper that gets in there very fast. MAXPAX has some of the best anti-Reaper harass probe micro in the game. I have seen him defend a Reaper from here without losing a single probe. But even he struggles to do that, because that thing is going to have 30 seconds in his base with like no actual unit out unless he builds a Zealot. And he is probe scouting, so at least he'll have warning that he needs to get a Zealot out, which will make it a bit harder for BYUN to micro. It's so hard. I tell you, if I was in this position, MAXPAX is in scouting at this late, I would probably lose. I mean, it's early enough for him to build immediate Cyber Core, immediate. He's not building a Zealot? Oh. But I would lose probably, if I lose 3 probes, I'd count this as a success, because BYUN's Reaper micro is insane. But looks like MAXPAX is going to start the Zealot after the Nexus. Interesting. I guess the Zealot build's like 5 seconds quicker. He can use that to defend. He's also not sure if the barracks is close to his side of the map or if it's just a Macarax hidden somewhere like in the corner of BYUN's main or something. But I think he'll divert this Zealot to help defend the Reaper. The Reaper just makes it a bit more complicated for BYUN to micro. Obviously, if BYUN doesn't A-move and doesn't target fire, then the Reaper's probably going to target the Zealot. And it just creates a little area where the Reaper has to avoid that Zealot. Now, MAXPAX really good at pulling away the weak probes, but that grenade was really well done. Oh, but BYUN misclicking there, guys. Ah, he gets it anyway. Still gets a probe. Only 1, though. MAXPAX, man. Boy, is slick. Very slick micro from MAXPAX. Command Center is going to go down here for BYUN on the high ground. MAXPAX has seen it. Second Reaper will come out. Adept is just hanging on the high ground. And that's how it's going to try to sneak out across the map for a bit of pressure. Stargate goes down for Maximus. I have seen Phoenix opening sneak back, and a lot of people are saying Phoenix not going to be good after the patch. I've seen a few people still going for him. Oracle might still be a bit more popular, though. And I do know that the Oracle not going down to Cyclones anymore has been one of the big things that Showtime and a few other Protoss players were saying they really enjoyed with the new Cycloners. The old Cyclone, the moment it locked on, there was almost no way to escape it with the Oracle. Like, you know, how many times did you see a Terran player scan and kill it from an entire screen away? Where you're just like, the Cyclone's here, the Oracle's here, and it still kills it, and you're like, seriously, man? Whereas now the Oracle can survive a lot better, so it'll be interesting to see if that takes part in this game. But it's actually a Phoenix opening. And it is a double Cyclone build for BYUN into multiple barracks. Which is pretty, I would say pretty good for him, as long as he doesn't go too heavy on the Cyclones and he just plays defensively. Adepts suck versus Cyclones. Command Center is going to flow down pre-orbital. Now you might think, why wouldn't he make the orbital first? The reason is his main's already oversaturated. Obviously, being able to save more energy while you go and float down there is great normally, but if your command center in the main has already got a lot of SCVs mining inefficiently, you're like, I just want to get down there and get these SCVs mining at higher efficiency as quickly as possible. Interestingly, BYUN forgot to change his rally point here, and he'll have to remember that in a moment, or he's going to keep oversaturating that main base. So it's going to be 4 Cyclones into swapping this barracks on that reactor. We've got Marines and Stim on the way, and a second tech lab as well. Reapers are running in right now. Looks like they managed to get themselves another probe. Actually, no, that was the probe that died inside of the base. Oh, no, the Reaper has 2 kills. Shield battery, though, does make this nice. I like that probe there. Probe blocking these Reapers. But looks like he might get out. Does he? Oh my god, BYUN's being so annoying. Oh man, I always feel like I'm getting toyed with when players do this to me, but I like seeing that it takes even a guy like MAXPAX this long to get rid of that bloody Reaper. The Reaper did actually go home to kill the in-base probe. It wasn't a Marine or anything according to chat. Thank you. I was wondering that. Thank you, Wriggle, for the confirmation on that. Good to have chat actually paying attention to the games while I weave random stories about different things. Robo Bay is there, 3rd base on the left as well. This is always an odd situation because do we just cut Phoenix production completely? It looks like that's the answer for MAXPAX. Comes in, lifts up an SCV, doesn't quite kill it. This is always scary. When they've got 3 racks Marine pumping, you really are like, please get the Colossus out sooner rather than later. There we go. He's back to Phoenix production. Yeah, so this is what I was asking. If you stop at 5 Phoenix, you can go Twilight Forge, go Colossus, Zealot, Archon. You're basically playing a ground style with a small squad of Phoenix. The fact that he's continuing Phoenix production tells us that MAXPAX wants to go a bit heavier into this very turtley Phoenix Colossus style, where the Phoenix are very important for stopping drops. On this map, I'd say the big problem that comes about is Terran pushes down this way. Protoss army has to move to here to defend. Terran army picks up, drops in the main base, runs in and starts to kill stuff. Luckily, that's a very well-placed robo. Notice how it's tucked in kind of behind the front of the natural. You do not want any buildings in this area, because that rewards these sort of drop plays. You want the Terran to have to unload their army and get deep in your base to find value. And notice, MAXPAX he's putting all of his stuff here, tucked in behind the natural. So MAXPAX is really prepared for the weakness of this map. Oh my god. Cyclone takes out the Observer, double drop. Looks like it was ready to go towards the main, but after being spotted by the Observer, he decides to unload. 3rd base is on the way, as well as a 4th and 5th barracks. We've got all those upgrades lining up. +1 almost finished, but Concussive has been forgotten for now by BYUN. A very important upgrade against Zealots. Arguably not that important in this scenario, where it is going to be 8 Phoenix before the Forge and Twilight goes down. This is all off just 2 gateways, remember? And I think what BYUN's doing makes perfect sense. Just clean up the map vision. Don't overcommit, because if you dive in too hard, the Phoenix will ruin your day. But if you act like you're about to push in, you clean up pylons, you clean up units on the map, it's a really good way of doing it. Oh, look at that, man. 2 Phoenix split off to kill the Marine to deny map vision. Very nicely done. On the other hand, a Ghost Academy is on the way for BYUN. BYUN's still looking for these openings. And he's not really looking to commit to the push. He just realizes, hey, the Protoss is so turtley. All I need to do is make the Protoss unsure of if I'm going to push in or not, and that alone does a fair amount of damage. And keep picking up the value. Here's a probe, kill a pylon. And that's where you can slowly work yourself ahead while keeping the Protoss very paranoid. Lots of gateways going down, so MAXPAX will go 6 more gateways. That's going to bring up to 8 gates, charge, +1 attack, and eventually Blink will come in. Just keep in mind, if all the Phoenix suddenly die in a battle, things can go really badly for MAXPAX, because he won't have any anti-air control until that Blink is ready. For now, though, the Phoenix will be a decent enough squad. 2 squads of 4 Phoenix out there. Does MAXPAX control these? Oh, he does. Look at that, guys. Number 2 and number 4, and then his main army here. 3rd Colossus is not quite out. The Marauder count's getting quite scary. Ooh, one of the Phoenix goes down. The Phoenix are all joining up now in a single control group. There is no shield battery on this base. There's a Guardian Shield, 2 Colossus, and Immortal, a couple of Zealots. That's a kind of weak army. Now, interesting that there's no second starport for BYUN. Most players would like to go second starport against this, but BYUN is saying, you know what, you're going to swap in a Zealot Archon anyway. I just want to get Ghosts and double upgrades. I can add Vikings later, but they're not a priority right now. And that means without Vikings, he can't really kill MAXPAX, but he can try to get himself ahead for the later stages of the game. It's more of a maybe I'll outposition you with some drops, catch you out of position, but I'm not really looking to punch a hole through the front. But he sees an opportunity, he goes for it. The Colossus need to go forward. That base is very exposed. Oh, good hold position. Baits a few of those Widowmine shots. Oh man, the Colossus are damaged. The Colossus taking EMP as well. The Zealots are trying to warp in. The Colossus doing well, but look at this. The Phoenix have lost their energy. They cannot help on the ground. Zealot counterattack comes in on the third base. Very necessary to take the pressure off his back. MAXPAX needs 30 seconds to get up his shields again at home. And those Zealots buy him just that, because now he can regen shields. You can see all these units are starting to regen very quickly. Shield battery overcharge is now available as well on this fourth base. He keeps the Nexus alive. A scary moment there for MAXPAX, but he does hang on to his base. He's now got a Zealot drop going in, and these turrets are bizarrely placed. I guess they're anti-Phoenix turrets, but they're not guarding against the Prism. He's got 3 turrets creating this entire avenue where the Zealots can warp in whenever he wants to. But we'll pull away for now. Good lost mining time. Good kind of delay there. Going to take out a few SCVs. More Zealots moving around the right side. He's got to be careful with his main army. It's moving in the middle right now, and this is the classic MAXPAX. I'm going to push you with a very small army, and I'm going to try and bully you by being up in your face. And it's not a bad way to play. MAXPAX, he's in the shadows right there, but there is a big army just waiting on the production. So he's got to kind of wait to pull BYUN out of position, get him to F2 to the front, and then maybe that drop can find damage again. Picks off an SCV and a depot there. So let's go back in the main. The Vikings did push back the Prism, but it did survive for now. Prism does survive on the left side. We've got Zealots coming in the right. Those get taken out. I think MAXPAX would be wise to pull off right now. Looks like he copped a few more EMPs on this army. Those Phoenix are completely out of energy. I wouldn't mind MAXPAX backing off right now. This just looks scary to me. He's got a lot of Zealot Archon. There's 4 Colossus, and there's not many Vikings, though. There's an argument that there's not a real answer to the Colossus, and the Archons and that single Immortal could do a lot on the ground. Those Vikings starting to get a lot of damage, though. He's got to get rid of that Viking. That one Viking doing a lot of poking damage. Fourth base is fully saturated for MAXPAX. He does not have a 5th base on the way. His +1 armor's just started. His Blink starting. His second Robo starting. And remember, guys, MAXPAX not a big fan of the Disruptor. I can understand why. If I was playing God gamers like BYUN and Clem every day, I probably wouldn't like Disruptors as much as well. Whereas for me, Grandmaster level, man, the Disruptors are basically my saving grace. They're what allow me to have success in this matchup. But MAXPAX and Hero are these very best Protoss players in the world who are like, I'll mix a few Disruptors in when the time's right. And that time is always much later than pretty much any other Protoss players. Prism tries to come in. There are turrets all over it. 2 Vikings on defense as well. Beautiful D there for BYUN. You don't get to be a world champion without having a large D, and that is exactly what BYUN has there and shows off very nicely. He's got to be careful. Oh, he gets rid of a few Widow Mines. If you get rid of those Ghosts, that'd be big as well. Those Ghosts took a bit of damage, but not all that much. Zealots on the left actually get 10, 11, 12, 13 SCVs before the Planetary's done. But on the right side, he's going to get jumped on his MAXPAX. Can he take this army down? The 4 Colossus doing okay. 1 Colossus goes down. Phoenix take out most of the Vikings, but not all of them. This army's getting hunted down. MAXPAX needs to either stand and fight, or he needs to get out of there, and there's no way to get out of there. Oh god, he's trying to at least kill what he can on the way out. But a lot of his army goes down. He does have Disruptors coming in from behind these Zealots. You can imagine if he had a Prism on the front or something, those Zealots got there a little earlier, maybe that fight could have turned in his favor. But look at that, BYUN even dropping those Concussive Marauders very nicely. There are still a few Phoenix here. He's looking for the surprise ball shot. Surprise ball! Gets 3 Marauders, not a bad shot. Looks like he got a Marine as well. Does lose the Disruptor. And he's got, right now, 2 Disruptors, 1 Colossus building. There's 2 Prisms on the map, funnily enough. But, damn, at this point, you're like, as MAXPAX, I don't need 2 Prisms. You're like, oh god. I need other things, man. I need Colossi, I need Disruptors, I need Immortals, I need all those fighting units. +3 attacks on the way. He did chrono his second forge. He doesn't actually have +2 armor started. Looked like he was a little shy on the gas. So you can see he's taking 1 extra gas. He's already put the probes on it now ahead of time. 82 workers for MAXPAX. Going on 83, that's a very high worker count for this matchup. Just keep in mind, it means his army's a little bit diminished. BYUN doing the classic, I'm going to pick up and try and dive the right side. There is a ring of pylons that'll give him a little bit of warning of this. Vikings, man. MAXPAX Prism Micro is being great, but without Warp Prism speed, obviously these guys do tend to get hunted down. He's going to run into the edge of the map. BYUN takes the right watchtower. He realizes there's going to be a risk going in. Oh, no, MAXPAX, don't do that. Well, wait, he's diving right there. Interesting. The bio goes in, the cannon battery. Oh, the Zealots are kind of pulling back right now. And interesting, goes in the main base, realizing, hey, your warping just got used on the low ground. You don't really want to be recalling right now. That forge is going to go down. That delayed +2 armor. Turns out it doesn't matter that it was delayed because it wouldn't have been finished either way. Phoenix going to try and hunt down the medevacs. Nice Marine focus fire on that. A bunch of the units do go down. MAXPAX starting to clean it up. He's down 4,000 resources in the units lost. BYUN's efficiency has been fantastic this game. Phoenix right now, a bit of a throwaway. I don't think MAXPAX cares about them. He's happy to just simplify and focus on Stalkers at this stage. Oh, he makes a mistake there. He's worried about the army. He F2s to the front. The Phoenix, absolute baboons, end up leaving those units. But with a few Zealots warping in, he should be able to hold. Here we go, big push on the front. A Colossus just got caught out in the open. A Colossus just got dived on. This is an awkward spot. I love that move by BYUN. I did not expect him to push in there. I was like, oh, he's going to threaten on the front. I didn't think he was going to dive in. He's killed 5 Colossus this game. 4 earlier and 1 more just then. 2 Colossus out. Oh, the split. The split. Just no map control here for MAXPAX. The moment he didn't have Zealots and Prisms active on the map, BYUN dives in, gets a Nexus, gets 5 probes. He's on the right side, cancelling that Nexus, killing probes over there as well. And it seems like MAXPAX just can't quite keep up in this game. BYUN has a fantastic army. He's about to have 3-3 versus 3-1 as well, so his upgrade's getting out of control. Zealots running in, a ball shot on the left would be nice, but of course MAXPAX's attention is elsewhere. The Zealots actually getting a pretty good fight right there, and this army on the right side does defend. 14 probes go down. MAXPAX losing so much army and economy, and that's exactly what BYUN wants. He wants small fights. He doesn't want to fight into your Disruptors and your Colossus head on. He wants to just pick you apart, realizing, hey, your Disruptors need a lot of micro to be successful. Your Zealots, if they're running in small numbers into my bio just EMPs them, stims, stutter steps them down. These Widow Mines I've scattered around the maps have been gaining fantastic value. And he's on 4 bases fully saturated. Extra command centers coming in as well. He drops into the main base. MAXPAX cannot keep up. And BYUN's going to take the advantage 2-1, keeping the success on his map choices. Alright guys, MAXPAX, that last one was a bit rough for him, but now we're on Solaris. This map, I think he's going to be looking to control it a little bit better. I think hard lead gets a bit nasty with like all the ramps and ledges, as well as your main being a bit open, but Solaris a pretty good map. Now, MAXPAX sent this probe across at the very start, so he's actually, you notice he built the barracks there. So the advantage of sending one of your very first probes across the map, even though you lose a lot of minerals early on, you force their barracks to be delayed and placed in a different position, which means they have to lift the barracks at some point. It means if you can also force that SCV off the barracks and swap a new SCV onto it because he's too damaged, every time you do this, you delay the Reaper. So to give you guys a benchmark, a pro gamer Reaper should start at 1 minute and 26 seconds. Maybe 1 minute 27, at the latest 1 minute 28. Let's take a look. Notice the barracks is already not finished at 1 minute 29. Reaper doesn't start till 1 minute 30. It's a Marine, not a Reaper. And I think part of the reason BYUN's doing that is because he's like, well, the Reaper's going to be so late, it's not going to get in there to kill a probe. Maybe he was already planning to go Marine first. As you can see, even here, he's building the command center on the high ground. He's actually delayed building the Marine by a very long time. But he actually got the command center before the Marine. So BYUN said, look, you've delayed my barracks so long, I might as well just get my command center super duper fast and just chill. It's also a great way of, if you are getting proxied, you get here so early with your probe, you go, hey, there's no barracks. And you can then send another probe out, check the common proxy location over here, and often cancel that barracks before it gets finished, which is really nice. So it's both disruptive to the Terran and very safe. Obviously, it slows down pretty much everything in your build, because one of your very first workers is not mining minerals. But it's a nice way to limit the BS the Terran can throw at you. And if you especially enjoy just annoying Terran players and being disruptive with that probe harass, it could be really good. Oh, they recovered this game from replay. Looks like maybe someone crashed out. Did not realize that it happened. Second gateway on the way after a Twilight Council. MAXPAX, he did mix in a Phoenix opening there, but going back to Blink, which I think he does excel with. I really feel the top tier players with their ability to kind of control the map with Blink. It's a weird feeling because I can often feel like Blink Stalkers aren't that great. And then you get to playing really good Grandmaster players and you start to realize the Stalkers are like such an annoyance as a Terran. You always feel like you have to commit so much to stop the Stalkers picking away units in that early mid-game phase. And then by the time you do that, you often, you know, you're just a little bit too slow to hit them with your attack timing. Oh, wow, nice Hellion snipe from the Adepts. Really well done there. MAXPAX having a party. He's going to go straight to this main base. Oh, good SCV movement there. It does actually intercept one of those Adepts. And nice micro, though. That Adept only now going down. That Adept's going to try and get one out of there. Already wasting a bunch of mining time trying to shade out. He could recall that if he wants to, but sees the tech lab go down in the factory. 2 SCVs ain't too bad. Obviously, the Marines will eventually corner this. Maybe get 1 or 2 hits off before he goes down. And there we go. Adept finally falls. At the end of the day, it's a Hellion and 2 SCVs. It's not a crazy amount of damage. Interestingly, we haven't seen a 4-gate blink this whole series yet. And that's something that I'm kind of missing a little bit. I'm like, where is that 4-gate blink, mate? 3-gate blink seems to be MAXPAX's favorite recently. It's kind of a middle ground. You can still do a decent blink pressure without being quite as committed to it. But a Widowmine Marine drop coming in while his Stalkers are on the other side of the map. That is going to be unfortunate. His probe is not going to see it. BYUN spots the probe because the medevac has longer sight range. Uh-oh. Stalkers are poking in right now. I mean, they're going to do some damage, but these probes are outnumbered. Those probes need to get out of here. No focus fire for BYUN because he was busy at home. These Stalkers going to run in, kill a Fresh Mule. Nicely done. Fresh Mule goes down. Blink is not quite ready. Those probes go back to mining on the natural. In the main base, these probes try to fight. Not a good call for MAXPAX. Not a good call at all. He's going to lose so many probes here. That is a 6 Marine drop with a Widow Mine. That's what was so scary about it. Stalker goes down here as well. He will start to defend. Stalkers on the other side. 2 of those go down. It's a really favored opening for BYUN. MAXPAX is in the pooper right now, guys. That's a terrible opening for him. Moving out with the Stalkers, that timing can get you value, but it can also cost you big time. And look at that. Even the Widowmine unburrows and waddles over to the 3rd base. MAXPAX would love to start a 3rd, but he has no money. If he comes back from this game, it's going to require some proper wizard stuff. I mean, we're talking Hagrid is going to rock up at his door and say, "You need to come play the World Championship. You've got an invite to Katowice, you know, you got an invite to the World Championship." MAXPAX is going to actually have to get in the stupid motorbike and go because we're sick of him doing so much magic and not rocking up to land tournament. We're like, please, we want to see you win a championship on that stage and kick butt. We'll see what happens. All right, Banshee floating around there. Observer's about to pop out soon. Oh, man. Observer's just a few seconds late. He's already taken so much damage this game. He now finds himself deep in Dicktown. Smells a little bit like Gooch. It's not where a Protoss player likes to hang out, guys. You know how they feel about lesser species with orifices. And yet, here we go. Marine drop in the main as well. MAXPAX gonna have to blink that weak Stalker away. Oh, he loses it. I don't want to kill the hype, guys, but it's all ogre, man. BYUN just mixing in a fast Marine drop here was such a good way to throw something at MAXPAX that he's not really being conditioned for in this series. It's been very different builds to that the entire time. And now MAXPAX, he's starting a 3rd. He's trying to probe. These Stalkers are going to try and get some damage, but a good surround with the SCVs, stopping him from stutter stepping. And look at that. That tank's covering, I believe, that entire natural. Oh, the tank is not in range, really? I could have sworn that tank was in range. One of the Stalkers does go down, though. He's getting some fair damage, I gotta say. Really well done with the harassment here. If he brings it back, it would still be very impressive, though. Banshee in the main. Oh, very nice. He's gonna get it. The Observer's close enough. Second Banshee goes down. No kills. Okay. All right. Now, Stims just started. Remember, when you go Banshee, it massively slows down Stim and shields. So MAXPAX can chrono probes for the next minute or so. As long as he doesn't make any mistakes, like no supply blocks. You might think, oh god, he's about to get supply blocked, Pig, but he's got a pylon about to finish. Charges on the way. Obviously, we're cheering for MAXPAX because BYUN has diddled him in this game. And I'm always cheering for a comeback rather than a foregone conclusion. And so far, he's done some nice harassment. But I'm telling you, when Stim and Shields finishes, the army for BYUN is going to be monstrous. There's going to be 4 siege tanks. An immense amount of bio. Now, Zealots and Stalkers don't care too much about the siege tanks. Because you just jump on top and they're not that great, right? They're better against Colossus, against slower Colossus, Stalker, Sentry armies. The question is, can you get the numbers out? And do we see Immortals? 1 or 2 Immortals could be nice in the mix, as long as they're hitting Marauders and tanks in the fights. But do we see splash damage from MAXPAX, or is it just cut probes at 60, nothing but mass zealot, and go, and look for the perfect engage? The army's moving out. Stim, shields, +1, all are going to be finishing in the next 30 seconds. MAXPAX has a good Stalker army, but he already loses one. Picks off a Marine or 2, but losing a Stalker, not worth that. He's got to be careful. 5 gates on the way. He's building Immortals. He's got +1. He's trying to make a Robo Bay as well right now. I don't know if that's necessarily the most important thing. Another Stalker goes down. Not another Stalker. No, MAXPAX. Oh, he needs to be perfect, and he is not playing anything close to perfect. Also, these speedy zones are actually really favoring BYUN here. Anything to close the distance is going to favor BYUN. and his bio getting on top of those Stalkers. Now, there are force fields available, but dude, the tanks here, actually the Immortal on the ledge. Oh, the Immortal on the ledge. Immortal ambush! Immortal ambush is going to take out the front tanks. Oh, he gets rid of one of them. Good snipe on one of those siege tanks. Good force fields, but he's got to pull back. Those tanks will not get a volley off. Nicely done by MAXPAX. Zealots are going to come in from behind. There's not much at home right now. Those Zealots are not going to find a third base or anything like that. The Stalkers inch forward. Battery overcharge is not going to do anything. That's going to get sniped before it can be activated. MAXPAX may need to give this base up. Oh, but he's a bit exposed out here. Stalker's taking tank shots. It's a hard spot to fight. He's got the Zealot flank coming in from the south. It's almost there, guys. It's coming in from the left side. He's going to go for it. Probes get pulled as well. He's like, I need to defend this base. I will die trying. I have to defend this base. The Stalkers blink forward. They take some big tank shots. Great focus fire there by BYUN. A pretty good hold by MAXPAX, I gotta say. He survives. A big army at home has been rebuilt. The third has landed. And there is now a massive economy advantage for the Terran player. Oh, the boost is not quite available, but the blink does not close the distance, and BYUN saves these units. More units coming forward, not enough to necessarily straight up beat the Protoss army, not with those Immortals in there. Prism comes in from the natural as well. There's 2 turrets. Why are there 2 turrets here? MAXPAX with the quick micro does the turnaround. The Zealots get in and start doing damage. MAXPAX fighting hard right now to keep this game with a chance of Protoss victory, but that is a lot of Terran units coming in. Those Marauders are going to be taken out by the Immortals pretty quickly, but man, the firepower of Terran is beastly. Zealots on the bunker are going to get taken out. Yes, they are. Repair is pretty damn good. Zealots coming from that side. Stalker Colossus actually going to take out this army. Dude, look at the supply. How the hell is MAXPAX in this? How the hell? MAXPAX actually gets 13 SCV kills, gets rid of the base. He sees both of these Widow Mines, which he can now kill. Holy crudsicles, if he probes and takes a 4th, he could absolutely do this, but he's going to go for the kill instead, and that might actually be the play. A second Colossus is on the way. How the hell, from this early game, is MAXPAX in this game? Dude, MAXPAX is killing it right now. The Widow Mines are not getting the big hits that he really needs. The War Prism was picking up Zealots to dodge those. He's got to be careful about attacking into kind of the bunker and the spread of buildings, but he does bust through the bunker. Observer does go down. Unfortunate there for MAXPAX, but he's got so many Zealots coming in. SCVs are going to go out here. Remember, this Colossus does not have Viagra, but he says it's not about the size, it's about how you use it. MAXPAX bringing out some age-old wisdom here, wiser than his years. But that Colossus getting killed by a turret right now. The Colossus needs to get out of there. Zealots are being defended by those Marauders. They're all so weak, though. The Medivacs are out of energy. There's really no juice left. The Colossus very exposed right there. The Marauders not clicking on it. More Zealots coming in. I think he's done it. BYUN has been broken. What the heck, man? MAXPAX making an insane comeback. Absolutely wild. I did not expect that turnaround in that game. MAXPAX hangs on like a champ. All right. Up here in the top right, we've got MAXPAX representing Psystorm Gaming. He's about to get proxy racked in a very sneaky position by BYUN. Tied up 2-2 now, going on to Alcyon. I'm very curious to see what happens, because I haven't really watched a best of 7 PvT. I've watched a few best of 5s between MAXPAX and Clem. But what happens in a best of 7 is we get to Alcyon, as we get to Hecate. Does Golden Aura come out? Did that get vetoed? Like, what maps have been vetoed by these players, and which ones are they going to get to? Because you normally pick the most advantaged maps for your race at the start of the series, and as it goes on, you get to the very evenly matched maps, and it becomes more and more exciting. So I love seeing a series that's neck and neck like this. Probe comes in and goes, oh, okay, I'm being proxied again. Gonna go Cybercore, bam. Interesting, he doesn't wall off behind the minerals. I guess he'll do that with his tech structure hidden in the back. BYUN? What is this? What's his SCV doing, guys? Checking for the gold base. Oh, okay, and then he's gonna patrol over here. Kind of looks like he wants to build a starport. Just odd. Factory goes down at home. No Zealot this time. MAXPAX. Woof. Okay. There's the Reaper's gonna pop out here, jump up here, and run up and jump up over there. Adept will be starting in a moment. Or Stalker, in fact. Okay, interesting. Stalker's on the way. Gonna have about 20 seconds in this base to wreak havoc. BYUN looking for those probe kills. Nice probe pull by MAXPAX. Immediately pulls back the weak one. He's gonna need to do that again. Both of those probes need to get out of there. Ooh, 2 probes already going down. The other one must have died on the other side of the map. The Reaper's got a second kill, and that's why you build a Zealot. So, who got the kill on this side of the map, guys? Can we find him? This guy. This Drilly boy has a kill there. 3 probes dying this early is a problem. And Factory Oh my god, he's doing the double reactor factory all in. Guys, this is a dirty, dirty build. Oh, he's going to build a Stargate. That's not going to help at all. Oh no. Oh my god, MAXPAX is going to die. Because MAXPAX just doesn't have any scouting, guys, and it's going to be double reacted mass cyclone all in. He needs 3 stalkers. He just needs stalkers and batteries. He's not building a 3rd gateway unit though. And when you're going Stargate, the last thing you want to do is spend 50 gas on a stalker right now. If he keeps building stalkers non-stop, gets another battery, you can absolutely hold on here. But with no information, no way of getting information. And why would you check the barracks location? It's a single Reaper and then the barracks floats home. That's what happens 90% of the time. That's exactly why this is kind of keeping him caught off guard here. And a dirty all-in build is going to get a free win, I would imagine. I just don't see any way you can... Yeah, Phoenix is going to do literally nothing. Oh, BYUN messed up! BYUN messed up! What a nub! Guys, if you've only got space for 1 unit to block, you need to make sure your Cyclones are building on different timers. Notice he's got them building 3 seconds apart now. So these will pop out, it'll move, and then the next one will pop with the space that's cleared. Obviously, after these 2 pop, he could let that Cyclone out by lifting it off. SCVs are being pulled as well to repair. It doesn't matter, because it doesn't matter. MAXPAX is just dead. There's no way to defend this. He's just playing blind. He's got a lot of assumptions about what happens in a normal game. And BYUN, of course, is absolutely, skipping those assumptions. Factory does lift off as expected, guys. And there we go. Catches the probe, looking to build a 3rd base. MAXPAX goes, that's definitely not what I want to do anymore. And I'm surprised he doesn't go for the battery, actually. It's a little surprising to me, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. He goes for the pylon, funnily enough. MAXPAX is dead. BYUN with an easy victory and a cheeky build on Alcyon. Nexus going down after Cybercore. Very standard opening for MAXPAX here. No big adjustments. Pylon at the front. 2nd gas will go down on 21 normally. There we go. Probe does start up. Command Center on the high ground into Marine again. BYUN, not that big of a fan of the standard Reaper expand today. He's been loving these Marine first openings. Reactor first, or Marine into Reactor openings. Factory goes down though. None of that crazy 3 Command Center shenanigans from the start of the series. Guys, he just lifted his barracks and put it there, but that still is not going to be walled off by 1 depot. I don't know if BYUN realized he misplaced his barracks by down 1 space. That's going to be interesting. Oh wait, no, we're walling off like this? Okay, that's a special wall off, that is. Oh my lord. I didn't realize BYUN was smoking the ganja before playing this game. He said, oh, I just won with Cyclones. Let's hit the bong. Let's go, man. It's a funky wall off, but hey, it is what it is. It'll stop Adepts getting in. That's all that matters. Hero would be proud. Violet Council's on the way. Adepts coming out as well. Hellion on the way, as well as 2 Marines. Pretty straightforward opening for BYUN. With the starport on the way, we know he's not committing too hard to an early push. Oh, nice. Oh, the Command Center. I like the way he lowers the depot to try and distract the Adept. He's like, hey, what's up, buddy? 2nd and 3rd Marine pop out. We'll get rid of that. And the Adept does cancel that shade. Orbital's on the way. More Marines building. Extra Hellion being built right now. I guess BYUN just wants to make sure he gets control of his base. Fair enough. Ooh, does change targets to the weaker Adept, which is the right call. This Adept winning this fight, though. When the extra Hellion comes out, it can take this out, but actually he cancelled it and started the Widow Mine, so it's a close fight. Looks like the Hellion barely wins this one. Survives on 2 hit points. Good trade for Terran there. 250 resources for 150. And of course the 2nd and 3rd gateways going down. MAXPAX, I'd love to see mix in a 4-gate blink. Finally, there we go. It's the first time this series he's done it, and I feel like he's got to give BYUN something to worry about. If you can... You know, BYUN's doing weird Marine Widow Mine drops. He's doing that again by the looks of it. He's been mixing in some nasty little plays here and there. And we've seen MAXPAX have so much success over the last year with the 4-gate blink. It's a big part of what allows him to keep Terrans actually worried about what could be coming their way. Raven's coming out behind this. Factory building a tech lab. Looks like a very normal opening for BYUN. This is about as standard as they come. 2nd barracks going down, 4 minutes 10. Stalkers are in the middle. There's only 2 Stalkers out, about to be 4. 4 Stalkers, more than enough to defend this, but remember, Blink is not ready. And here we go. Looks like these probes taking damage. Stalkers do come down. That probe in the bottom falls. Single Marine goes down, and... Ooh, Hellion runs in. Alright, that probe's gonna go over there and try to take that Widow Mine shot to the face. Stalkers, oh, no! And there we go. Good cleanup, bit of lost mining time, still kind of unfortunate. And the question is, does he know it's 4 gates? If you see 2 gates at the front, that does not tell you that this is a 4-gate blink build. I don't know if anything else here really tells him that. He seems to be respecting it in terms of bunker on the front. I'd like to see a depot here more than anything. Cutting off the stalkers if they blink forwards is important. Tank and bunker on the natural. Second tank's building in the main. He's pretty vulnerable right now though, guys. This is not a safe build. He built a Hellion into a Widowmine Marine drop. Lost a bunch of those units. This medevac's going to come home. The Raven's not even at home. He does see the Stalkers, and at least he diverts his units. But there's no tank in the main base. These Stalkers are going to have a party, mate. Those Marines, no match for these Stalkers. The Stalkers going to town on those Marines. Nice hot pickups with the Warp Prism. At the same time, Auto Turret goes in the main base. It's going to do a bit of damage. That is inconsequential compared to this over here. Already 8 SCVs going down. There is a second tank out now, and they are both up here in the main base, but losing a single Stalker for 9 SCVs and a bunch of other units. Very well done. Raven comes in for some more damage. This pull I always dislike, guys. If you're not going to pull the workers off gas, you might as well not pull at all. But the Raven does get F2'd back. BYUN with a slight mistake. Bunker gets taken out. Stalkers do need a moment to regenerate those shields. You know, BYUN staves off disaster for now, and I think that's actually really good for him. The Stalkers should just blink on the front and take out the tank. Not quite enough to one-shot the tank. Man, they take some pretty nasty blasts there. A couple of SCVs do go down as well. It's good damage from MAXPAX, but he's so fragile. This could turn bad. He's got to get out of there. He's now lost 3 more Stalkers. Worth it for a few more SCVs and a tank and a bunker, but he's got to make sure he progresses at home. With a 3rd Nexus on the way, probing now replacing those losses. That's pretty good. The Raven once again gets F2'd home. I tell you guys, I feel like as a Terran in this scenario, I'd be so much better off if I could just put that Raven on some sort of like Observer or Overseer mode so that it doesn't get F2'd. If you could tell the Raven to not get F2'd, I feel like it'd be such a better harassment unit. It might actually be overpowered. But Stalker's going to come in. This bottom side is completely wide open. MAXPAX is ripping BYUN apart. BYUN just wasn't prepared enough, man. No bunker in the main. His tank covering the natural was decent, but I think covering the main base has to be the priority because you can use repair on the bunker to cover the natural. That being said, a few of these weak Stalkers are going down. A bunch of Stalkers fall on the same time in the natural. Does do a Stalker drop. That tank is right there. He's going to redrop in there. 9 Stalkers for 20 Marines, 22 SCVs, a tank, a medevac, a Widowmine. A couple of bunkers have died as well. But the probes are now coming up. Main, fully saturated. Natural, fully saturated. Workers rallying to the 3rd. Charges on the way. Expect a Forge, a Mortal Production, and a Robo Bay to start coming in the near future, as well as a few sentries to warp in. There we go. Forge does go down. Shield Battery in the main is interesting. He's building 2 Shield Batteries as well, 1 in each base. It's an odd call for MAXPAX, almost feeling like maybe a drop will sneak across the map. We know the Starport is only building 1 medevac. It doesn't even have a reactor. There's a tank there. This is not a good move for MAXPAX. Good pullback. And he can just blink away. Oh, loses a Stalker on the low ground. Good chase by BYUN. Those Stim Marines doing their business. They are very wounded, though. This tank is way too exposed. There's only 1 tank covering it. A Stalker blink in to kill those 2 tanks could actually be kind of devastating, especially now that most of his Stalkers are newer, healthier Stalkers. Of course, the bio would stim down to punish that sort of move now that they're so close, but definitely something where the tanks are very far forward, and it does allow this tank to cover a lot of the main base as well. But definitely something you got to be wary of. Immortal Production coming in. That Robo Base still hasn't gone down. So it's 8-gate Immortal +1, 3 sentries warping in as we talked about. He's doing all of this, getting batteries at every base, and looking to take a 4th base before going for the Robo Bay. So MAXPAX wants to have that mobile style and keep that control level up. 4th and 5th barracks going down after 3rd command center. The bio stims forward, and MAXPAX is like, yeah, are you sure? Still only 1 medevac out. The Starport, there we go. 2nd and 3rd medevac pops. Starport desperately needs to keep building medevacs. He's going to try and stim on these Stalkers to catch him. MAXPAX a little bit too quick to get caught by that sort of stuff, though. And the more you chase, the more dangerous this gets. As Blink comes off cooldown, MAXPAX can turn around and fight. Robo Bay is halfway done. MAXPAX is in the lead. He's got a 4th base, but remember his probe count is not that impressive. He didn't go crazy gun-ho on the probes, and the main is half mined out, so he kind of desperately needs the 4th just as somewhere to transfer workers to and to build more. And BYUN, I mean, if you're on even workers as a Terran, is it that bad? No, but he needs a Ghost Academy and to round out his army a little bit. He's still got tanks, which is a decent set of anti-Colossus tech. He's starting a few Vikings as well after 5 medevacs. Tanks are here, as well as a good Bioforce. It's a pretty big Protoss army, though. Zealot dropping the main base comes in. Uh-oh. Widowmine's trying to burrow. And as BYUN sends a lot of army to defend, he may end up in trouble. An 8 Marine drop plus the SCV seems to be hanging on. But on the front, he gets jumped on. Nice moves here for MAXPAX. Raven does fall, and he pulls back there after baiting the stim and the big reaction. Big Zealot warping in the main, though. There is not enough response in the main. Viking will head down there and clean the Prism out, but not before the damage is being done. Another 22 workers going down. MAXPAX so methodical about attacking multiple areas at once, and he kills the command center. Oh, this is every Terran player's worst nightmare. It's always this position where you're like, I think I can just defend the main, pull back, defend behind the command center, in between the natural and the third, and I might be able to get a really good trade and get back in it. And it's always that moment where the Terran swaps into that sort of turtley mindset, where Protosses start blinking forward and clicking on command centers, and you never get it out of there in time. Not when they have 20 blink stalkers. The command center always going down is the thing that completely hamstrings the Terran economy. And from that point, you're just like, okay, yep, I'm screwed. This is where we pull the boys. We hope Protoss really screws up, and maybe we can find some magic. The medevacs are out of juice right now. The boys are all horribly drug addicted and a little wounded. Zealots catch the rally point. The SCVs have been pulled, but these Zealots kind of showing MAXPAX if that's the case. He's already got a Colossus out. Stalker's picking off a few of these units, a couple of Marines and Marauders. Batteries there, Zealots are ready. He's going to try and keep engaging far out, making it hard for BYUN to siege his tanks in range. I love the choice for MAXPAX to skirmish out here and then stutter step back towards the battery after baiting out multiple stims, after forcing those tanks to kind of engage very far back. And you can see the bio numbers will not get through the Zealots and the battery overcharge. Nice play by MAXPAX. Mixes in a 4-gate blink. And I'll tell you guys a general benchmark. If you as a Terran player could be playing against a 4-gate blink, and if at 5 minutes you've only got 1 tank, 8 Marines, and a bunker that's not even finished, your second tank's just started, holy crap, you gotta be afraid. If I was BYUN in this scenario, I'd probably put an SCV out front, and the moment I see Stalkers, I'd pull like 10 SCVs to repair the bunker. I would try to get the tanks up in the main. I don't know, I'd put it in like the most conservative position. I'd put it like behind the command center or something ridiculous, maybe up here. And I'd try to gather all my units in one spot because I know that this is going to be a really slippery slope. I think the Raven auto turret harassment was good, but having committed a bunch of Marines, a Widowmine and a medevac to the other side, it was very difficult for him to deal with this. And that's going to take us to Game 7. So fantastic play by MAXPAX. What the hell is going to happen in Game 7? All right, going into Game 7, this series will be decided on Site Delta. In the bottom right side, MAXPAX. In the top left, it's BYUN. So this tells us the maps that were vetoed were Golden Aura and Hecate. I believe Hecate was vetoed by BYUN because there's a lot of choke points on it. I think where it's a little bit harder to push in sometimes. I'm not 100% sure. And Golden Aura, because it's a bit more wide open, I think would have been vetoed by MAXPAX because you can kind of get surrounded by Marine Marauder a few too many times when you move out. I could be completely wrong on that. Let me know if you guys disagree and we'll see what happens. Zealot's on the way nice and early, so it's going to be a Zealot pressure for MAXPAX unless he cancels this to make a Nexus, but he doesn't. Nexus goes down on 400 minerals, and MAXPAX is blocking this command center very early on. Does delay it by a good couple of seconds there, not bad at all. It's Marine into Reactor. Are we seeing 3cc again? Oh my god, he's going 3cc again. BYUN's doing the build from Game 1. Game 1 and Game 2. Now, for those who didn't see, Game 1, he did this build on Radhuset, was way behind, and then MAXPAX kind of got caught out by a drop. Forgot to make High Templar, so his Storm finished and he had no High Templar to use it, and then was in a bit of doo-doo. But wait, this is... Oh, actually, no, it's just going to be a normal 3 racks. He's steadily putting workers back on gas, starts the second barrack, so it looks like this is not a third command center build. Okay, interesting. Adept's on the way, Adept and a Zealot. The Marine's being built. SCV's being pumped out right now. Zealot's going to come in, but with 3 Marines, easy defense here for BYUN. I like that he pulls it back, preserves the shields to join up with the Adept. MAXPAX is going to come in with the Zealot and the Adept, pair them up. The SCV's here to help tank. I like that choice for BYUN. He'll go down. but allows him to take out the Zealot, and 2 more Marines will join in. So yes, you'll lose an SCV, you'll lose a few Marines. As long as you pull this SCV away now, you don't lose it. And 3 Marines beat an Adept pretty handily. Now, another Adept is almost here, so it's still a little dicey right now. If MAXPAX can get the healthy Adept up front and use the Shade to provide high ground vision, he actually could go in and trade there, but he's not going to risk it just yet. I feel like he definitely had a window to kill another Marine or 2, but doesn't want to risk losing his units. Second gate, Robo on the way. I expect to see a third gate. I don't think he's going to go 4-gate Blink this game, but it would actually be pretty decent. 3-gate Blink is probably the perfect build, actually, against a 3-Rex. If we think about it, MAXPAX has been tending towards 3-gate Blink as his standard recently. It's the perfect build to counter a 3-Barracks build. Is BYUN's decision to play a 3-Barracks build kind of poor, considering what we know about MAXPAX playstyle recently? I think there's an argument here that, yeah, BYUN's build is not great against MAXPAX standard style. Great Adept scouting so far, making it very hard to hide these extra units he's building. Robo does need to start an Observer. And he's been good at constantly shading, hasn't he? BYUN's like, man, I'm sick of raising this. Oh, he almost sees the Marauders, not quite. BYUN wants to move out. That's why he's trying to chase these Adepts back. But look at that. He's going to see more units. Almost. Not quite. Dude, BYUN's doing such a good job. MAXPAX is kind of delaying this a little bit. Starts a third base. Okay, he sees it. He sees it. MAXPAX, great scouting. That's the sort of scouting only a very top tier player could pull off. Constantly shading an Adept at every single moment. Leaving his Adepts there, definitely a little problematic. The army's coming around north. Observer needs to divert to the north right now. He's not doing it. MAXPAX. Oh no, MAXPAX. MAXPAX is going to lose his third if he's not careful. He's letting this army sneak across the map. Now, on the other hand, he has a lot of Stalkers, but he needs to get them in position. These Adepts, they're going to see a couple of Marines there. Stalkers are not in position to defend the third, but he'll be able to move up and at least pick away a bunch of these Marines and Marauders. Good blink back micro so far. Does have a shield battery on the natural. Oh, not a great Stalker warp in there. He blocks his Stalkers from getting back in overcharge range. Actually, really good focus fire. 4 Stalkers already going down for just a Marauder and 4 Marines. But remember, these guys are overstimmed. They are overstimmed. You're not going to get the third base. It's a decent enough trade for MAXPAX if he can hunt this army down. Factory has finished. Starport's on the way. 4th and 5th Barracks on 2 base. BYUN's going all in. Game 3, everything to be decided here. And he says, let's go all in. It's a wild choice. BYUN wants to kill at least 1 or 2 Stalkers on the way out. How perfect is MAXPAX micro? Pretty damn perfect. Takes barely any damage beyond the shields. And he leaves 1 Marine? No, he doesn't. Gonna take it out. Equal workers for both sides usually is pretty good for the Terran. But in this scenario, I would say it's okay because units lost tab is, of course, in favor of Protoss. Protoss has the third. As long as Protoss doesn't go too deep on the production of economy, upgrades, tech, he should be fine. I'd love to see that Observer go in. He pulls it back just before the 3rd command center starts. Seeing that 3rd command center timing would be vital. 6 minutes, it's a kind of in-between timing. It's not the fastest. It's definitely not the slowest one either, though. It's not a 2-base all-in from BYUN, but it is pretty darn committed right now to a giant army. Oh, he just blinked in there. Mad Dog MAXPAX diving into a 3-Rax player. That's a very bad move. That is almost never a good move versus a 3-Rax. And you get to see why there. What did he kill? A bunker and a Marine for like 4 Stalkers? Not a good move at all. There's no reason to be attacking into the 3-Rax player. When he moves out of the map, chip at him, but chip at him very carefully and try to bait out stims. Remember, he's always going to have way more Marauders and Marines than you can handle, but he's low on medevacs. He has no tanks or Widow Mines. That is the big problem with a 3-Rax build order. That's the price that you pay. Stalker drop goes in, kills the SCV on the command center. He's going to take out a few SCVs as well, which is pretty nice. Charge, Immortal are on the way behind this. MAXPAX is now up 11 probes. He's got that healthy 60 worker 3 base versus 49 SCVs for Terran. The Terran army is not too bad, but oh my god, he's not putting SCV back on his 3rd. He's not putting SCV back on his 3rd. Oh god, BYUN's screwing the pooch right now. BYUN does not realize the SCV died on his 3rd command center. A huge mistake. This is a big problem for him. Stalkers are going to catch a medevac moving out. Guys, he is still not building that 3rd command center. Baits his stim out as well. Almost kills a medevac. The Zealot count's growing. Charge is almost there. +1's on the way. 8 gate or 7 gate is up. I think the 8th gate's transforming right now. An extra gas goes down. Stalker drop goes in. Just picks up and leaves. Finally, he starts continuing to build the command center. That BYUN has kind of put himself in a little bit of a corner here where now he feels like he has to do damage. He still might be able to. He's got a big army. It's a lot of Marine Marauder, but the Marines are up front. Could be deadly. Force fields, decent split, but the charge isn't quite here. Oh no, MAXPAX is not ready for this. His charge not quite ready. It's kicking in 10, 15, 20 seconds too late. That is so bad for him. Oh, slow Zealots are so trash right now. Can he do it with the force fields? That Immortal is doing a fair bit of work. Zealots coming from the right side. The Stalker Immortal pulling back, but no. Charge just so late this game. MAXPAX not ready for this push. BYUN finding the narrowest of margins, the perfect timing to push in. Oh, it looked like a good game for MAXPAX. I really thought he was doing quite well. But BYUN getting in here and doing astronomical damage. Yes, his army's heavily damaged, but killing the Robo as well. And now just stutter stepping away, saying, okay, I'll just kill what I can on the way out. He's going to pick off a few more units here. And wisely gets out of there. And that's a disaster for MAXPAX. Yes, he's got 4 bases. Could he bring it back? Well, I like that he's repowering his buildings on the front, but he doesn't have a Robo right now. He's stuck on Stalker Zealot. BYUN's got Widow Mines. For BYUN, I'd love to see him transfer a lot of workers to this third, build an armory, and start Widow Mine dropping. I feel like MAXPAX, you killed his Robo, probably only has 1 observer in your mind. We know there's 2 observers, but I would imagine there's normally only 1 on the map. And an armory Widow Mine drops combined with just letting your army grow to a bigger size and take good fights is a winning condition for BYUN. But BYUN's going to keep attacking. The Zealots do come in over here. He's going to wait for the Widow Mines to back up his Marauders. Widow Mines will soften those Zealots very nicely. 4th base falling for MAXPAX. Great snipe there for BYUN. Got to be careful not to overextend against a Mass Gateway style. Oh, Zealot drops up in his main base right now. MAXPAX almost loses a Warp Prism there. Does have to pull it back. The Zealot's stuck in a choke point though, are getting taken out. Medevac plus SCV beating Zealot. Oh, he stims forward. The Mad Dog BYUN sees an exposed Immortal, clicks on it. A mostly Zealot army cannot really kite in this sort of choke point. This is a bad spot to be in. Colossus on the way, but it's so late. I think BYUN might have him. BYUN may have him at the end of a grueling best of 7. And I really keep thinking back to that Cyclone all-in on Alcyon and just how vital that was to win this game, man. This series, it was that Cyclone all-in catching MAXPAX blind, and this series, this map indeed itself as well, hitting just before charge finished. It's one of those annoying mistakes for MAXPAX because you know he could have had charge earlier. There's no reason why he couldn't have had a 100 mineral, 100 gas upgrade. He just did not think he would get hit this early. BYUN commits in. He does lose a big army there. BYUN kind of threw away a ton of units in the tail end of that trade, but he's got a huge army behind it. He relands his 3rd base. There is no prism. Yes, there is. There's still a prism on the map. Range starts up. 2nd Colossus about to come out. MAXPAX oversaturated on his 3rd base. Can't really defend a 4th right now. The Marauder count is immense. 16 Marauders with 1/1 stim and concussive shells. There's 5 Widow Mines defending that 3rd, hilariously enough, and not actually defending it. Zealot comes in and gets a few SCVs. Will grab himself a 3rd one. Can you defend against such a big Bioforce? You need more Zealots to deal with this number of Marauders, I think. He's got a few. Remember, Marauders take 20 damage from stim. The Medevacs are already out of juice. Delaying this fight as long as possible is the key for MAXPAX, but the Marauders run in and just click on the Colossus. A 3rd stim comes in. The Marauders taking so much damage from their own stim packs. But he gets a Colossus, gets a few units, gets out. The units lost tab is still massively in favor of BYUN. Ooh. Zealots coming in. They're going to hit that 3rd base right now. BYUN's going to try to move forward. He's got a gigantic army. 17 Marauders, 10 Marines, 2 Vikings. Zealots are going to be going after some of these units. Going to try and hit the 3rd base. We've got the units coming forward right now. Bio army is very damaged. I mean, MAXPAX is a hero, but he doesn't have Storm. He doesn't have Disruptors. Numbers are real, guys. Some people say, oh, imaginary numbers are a thing. I don't care, Mr. Chan from Year 8 Maths class trying to teach us about imaginary numbers. It's not real. That's some made-up stuff. And right now, MAXPAX, I mean, he'd need some very special imaginary numbers to try and turn this game around. He's dead. He's as dead as they come. I mean, his Colossus Micro is exceptional. Warping his Zealots at the last second and trying to hang on. The Marine Marauder Viking trying to move south. It's just one of those things where BYUN is like, yeah, I'm not going to overextend. I'll pull back and heal now. I've got a 3rd, you don't. MAXPAX is trying to hide a 4th up the top, and it's a big problem. Extended Thermal Lance did get depowered there and then cancelled. And these Colossus are, of course, without the extended thermal lance, the Viagra getting cut off. Archon's morphing in right now. No Ghosts on the field just yet. Ghosts would, of course, hard counter it. In these sort of games, one of the big mistakes Terran players make is they just keep attacking, going, I've got to kill them, I've got to kill them. Efficiency is key, guys. How many times do you look at a replay, you have this efficiency, and then you keep attacking, and it evens out? Notice he's like, hey, I've been doing so much fighting, I need to let my medevacs heal my units. I need time to regenerate. Let them heal, do what they can. Nice hot pickup on the Marauder to save that bad boy. Storm's on the way as well as +1 armor. I like that choice. Storm's a great comeback ability. It's going to try and give a bath to the Terran. Now, I don't know if any of you have ever had any pets, but generally when you try to bathe just about any pet, they do not like it. And Terran players are basically the angriest, most maltreated dog that you've picked up from the pound ever. They will try to bite your hand off if you try to put them in the bath. So BYUN being one of the best Terrans in the world, unlikely to eat that Storm to the face. There are 2 High Templar in the mix. Storm still 30 seconds out, though. The rest of the army branching north to find this base. MAXPAX relying on a hidden 4th base right now. But man, every unit that goes down is a disaster for the Protoss player. It's a best of 7. It's game 7. You don't want to give in easily. You want to fight this out to the bitter end. But look at the way BYUN's playing. Ghosts coming in. He's got a few Vikings in the mix. A few more of those would be great. He's got 27 Marauders. Just a ridiculous army. Still no armory for him. I still think Widowmine drops would have been rather splendid in this game. But Zealot drop comes in from behind. 2 Vikings could go north to deal with it. He already recalls the Prism. Bio defends. MAXPAX rebuilding his 3rd base. Ghosts are going to spell disaster. You know, it's if BYUN gets over eager and keeps running in, he eats Storms, eats Colossus shots, maybe, just maybe. Ghost and Viking count grows, and this becomes so bad for Protoss. BYUN's not even taking a 4th base, by the way. He's just lifting his natural out, which is kind of hilarious. He lifted his natural rather than his main because it was muled so heavily, it was completely mined out in this game. So he's going to have to lift his main out to another base as well. And he's just cleaning up these Zealots. He says, hey, value, that's 100 minerals. Make it 200 minerals. Purposely targets the other Zealot to slow both of them. These Zealots, he's like, oh, that's another 100 minerals. Value, value, value. Efficiency is really good. Marauders and Marines cleaning it up. Sorry for the anticlimactic finish to this game, guys, but unless we see the sickest Storm of all time, no MAXPAX! No! And that is the Protoss hopes and dreams crashing into that pond here on Site Delta. GG, well played, man. I'm sorry for calling it early, but I can't hype this up anymore. It was a great series. It was back and forth. MAXPAX comeback on whatever that map was where he made that crazy comeback. Solaris, where it started really bad, I think it was, with the drop doing so much damage, was incredible. But BYUN played very nicely. We've got to look back at when Charge started in this game and say, why did it start so late? I think it started about 7 minutes. You can see, even at this point in the game, or maybe a little after here, yeah, he starts the Forge. Normally, Charge is one of the first things you start. And you can see he actually starts it and chronos it at 6:40. Was it seriously not ready in time? No. Guys, there's no... He just didn't chrono it anymore because he just didn't realize this army was in his face. Oh, if he just chronoed it once or twice more, this would have been done, guys. Every chrono takes 10 seconds off the time. Oh, damn. Dude, that's so unfortunate. Because he's doing a mass... He's got 13 Zealots. It is a Zealot-focused army. Oh, that's unfortunate. I mean, it's a hard moment to defend. But definitely, you can tell MAXPAX here, like, you don't need a 4th base. This 3rd's pretty late. Like, you don't need a 4th. You don't, like, really... He just did not realize how scary this scenario was. He had an observer down the bottom. I've got to be critical of this, guys. Let's be critical of this observer and point out what he did wrong. Why is this observer a bad idea? I wouldn't say it's bad. I would say it's not necessary. And the reason is, medevacs have just started. A 3-Rex player can't really... If they drop you, their ground army has no medevac support. It's running around... So drops are not a big fear. I really feel that the observers monitoring the army movements was way more important. So I feel this observer here is great, but I think the other observers should have kind of moved around the middle of the map a bit and tried to track where the army was and set up maybe here or out in the middle or somewhere. But I think that observer being on the bottom, I mean, even when it's set up there, this map has so much space, he could just drop here and the observer won't even see it. So it doesn't even really help you that much against drops. Seeing where the army is against a giant 3 racks into 5 barracks build-up is massive. And I think MAXPAX didn't see the 4th and 5th barracks until this moment. So he didn't really have the information. If he saw back at 5 minutes, hey, wait a second, why are you building your 4th and 5th barracks before your 3rd command center? He would have realized this is a very aggressive, committed build. I need to be extra safe on the defense. Look at that. That's a pretty early 4th and 5th barracks, guys. Third CC goes down as they're finishing. Look at this. That's a that's a late 3rd. If MAXPAX knew this, he could have prepared and adapted. He just didn't get the info. GG, well played by BYUN. Really nice play for him. Mixing in the 3 racks worked out really well. GG, well played.